It is a sight that you've probably gotten pretty used to if you live around in our area. Pickleball courts really started popping up all over the place. If they weren't pickleball courts, they were conversions from tennis courts. But that little noise, that plink, 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 plink nonstop, I think has been driving some folks insane. And so we bring in Fox 13's Lauren Donovan to kind of help us figure out. There's been some frustrations about all this pickleball.
Well, and I think we can talk about maybe two to begin with versus the one that we're going to touch on today. One of which there was a lot of concern from like wildlife advocates that you were waking up nocturnal animals. So that's one end of the controversy. Then there's the tennis controversy where tennis players are upset because, as you can see here in Green Lake, Matt, you know, they're co-opting their courts, they've turned them over, and this is like pickleball ground zero there in Green Lake. I mean, there's not a single court open. So the tennis people have beef with the picklers, all of that. There's bird lovers who are upset with them for impacting nocturnal animals like the plink plink like you were talking about. Now lead us to where we are today. And I have to tell you very candidly that I think I've picked a side on this story today.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't think we're supposed to do that.
Well, Matt, I think the stakes are low on this one. Okay, this is, and I think if you are a sensible human, you will come to the same conclusion as I did. So there was this story in the Seattle Times, like just a little like blurb about pickleball hours changing at 3 local courts. So I was looking at that. All right, what's going on? What's changing? And I saw the original hours for one of these courts that it was open until. It was like 4 in the morning until like 11:30 at night. And so I email like Seattle Parks and Rec, and I'm like, were people actually playing as late as 11:30 at night? And so I wrote this in an email to them, and I got a one-word answer, which was yes. So I didn't get a lot of information, but obviously you're like, who is doing this?
Well, as a young
right?
man, when I was growing up, I would tell my parents, hey, it's 4 a.m., time for me to hit the pickleball court. I think that's normal.
Yeah, if you live at it, like what these people right next door, you don't want that. So this court right here, Gilman, this is the one in Ballard that's surrounded by apartments. It's like literally sitting right over, looking into the court where they had to crack down on this, but people were playing at 11:30 and questions. There's no like lighting to permit this. So I want to talk to people at this court. Can you even play there? Right? Boom, that's your view. And then I want to talk to people over at Green Lake where there's tons of folks playing. Like, would you play till 11:30? Because I thought maybe people would confess their sins to me there. And lo and behold, Matt, they did. Multiple people told me on camera, yes, they would play till 11:30 at night and they would not feel bad about it, even if you lived right there next to the courts.
Which is weird because like I've done some late night basketball. I say late night because I'm old now. I don't look it, but I am. And it's like the sun goes down. It's like 6, 7 o'clock. You can't see anything. What in the world are they doing playing at 11:30 at night?
Matt, these questions have not been answered to me. It was actually really difficult.
They confessed, but they didn't explain it.
Yeah. They just said they have the calling and they have the right to pickle as they choose. But what was frustrating in this story, which was kind of like strange, just, you know, this is kind of a funny, goofy story, right? Just talking about the pickle addiction and all of that that's happening here locally, like Washington State Sport Pickleball, Seattle kind of ground zero right across the water from Bainbridge where it was founded. But I reached out to Seattle Parks and Rec for info. It was really hard to get like information on this because I was curious, how did we change just these 3 parks? Why them in particular? And I wanted some anecdotal information, as you might be wondering, right? Like who's even doing this? And they told me I have to get it through a public records request. And a lot of the times, like public comment or changes like this, there is like a public process of it. So I asked them for follow-up information. I kind of got frustrated with them when they sent me just one-word answers like yes. And then they told me a little bit more, but they said they had inspectors and there wasn't like an official review or they were only measuring decibels or anything, but they said the 3 parks, Magnuson, it's Mount Baker, not Magnuson, Mount Baker and Laurelhurst and this one, Gilman, had the most complaints.
So is my assumption here, and this is purely speculation, but like, is it that they had to fight such a big battle? Because you mentioned there were animal activists, people that were concerned about nocturnal animals. Was there maybe a concern that, hey, if we give out this information, like it's gonna rile the masses that were upset about some of these places? Is that what I'm getting here?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to get into pickleball conspiracy theories, but I would just like the context on this, and I would like to see some of these complaints because if these poor folks are being kept up into the middle of the night, right?
Sure.
with the plink, 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 I think a lot of us could understand that frustration. Or if there's other things that aren't pickleball that are happening on those courts, which are causing the closures later at night, you know, like those are the kind of things that we want to know, like what's actually going on in the courts. But
our producer Alan
Yeah.
put the super up there. Pickleball versus everyone.
pickleball versus everyone. Yeah, so I mean, it was a funny story, and I thought everyone would kind of agree with me, like, why would you be playing this late? And like
But the hardcore picklers
two
were
of the
like,
people
no.
that I interviewed on camera like confessed I would so do it, and they did not feel bad at all, Matt. And I was just cracking up. Like I was like, I can't believe they just said it. And then there were some other sensible people, real estate agents I talked to, and those apartments looking over there, they were like, oh, these poor, like there's no way you could ever get me to live out there. It's hard impact. Like either if it's close to you and you love it, that's great.
I mean, for the
If
right
it's not
price,
close-
I'll live anywhere.
Yeah, okay. Well, here we go. It's about you. So anyways.
Like but I did not realize there'd be so much controversy over pickleball. So
And you know what was funny too, when I was talking to just like random friends who I know play pickleball, just in conversation I was asking them about this. They had read that Seattle Times article too. So I think the pickleball community like really has a pulse on like where you can play and when. And later this week we're trying to create like a little map for people, because I think I'm always wondering like where can I actually play? Where's not just tennis courts? So I did the research for you. I've done all the Seattle courts. I have a list of them where you can play, and then some over in Bellevue too on the east side, which there's like about 12 on the east side and 17 in Seattle if we include the big Luther Burbank complex on Mercer Island. So we're trying to give you some info on where you can play for free.
the deep dive of pickleball from Fox 13's Lauren Donovan. She went deep for you guys.
News you can use, you know.
All right.
All right.
Lauren, thanks so much. Appreciate you stopping by as always. More news still to come here on the Fox Local Live Desk. When we come back, we're going to be talking, checking in actually, with Representative Pramila Jayapal holding a meeting today on Capitol Hill talking about deportations and immigration at large. We'll check in on that event coming up.